And a very good morning to you, Grenada, and the rest of the world. Yes, yes, he is risen. Boy, you have lots and lots of reasons to be extremely happy this morning. And I'm glad that you did find some time to spend with us on today's edition of Sundays with George Grant. I am he, by the way. Thank you so much for coming along. Folks, it's going to be a good morning, but I got to be honest with you right up front. We got some good news. We got some not so good news. Let me start with the first bit of good news. Christ is risen. And therefore, I hope you believe and reap the benefits of that belief, that faith. I hope that from today on, you'll be a better person, more at peace with yourself and with your God. All right? Having said that, the bad news, the not so good news, okay? The not so good news is that one of our focal points this morning, one of the people we were really looking forward to having with us this morning, is unable to be with us. I'm talking about Dr. Patrick Antoine. Hold on. Hold your horses. Patrick called at about 7:45 this morning to say that, unfortunately, something has come up. He's got to take care of his daughter, and as a result, he will not be able to join us this morning. But, Patrick, and by the way, he is in Trinidad. The good news, the great news, is that Patrick will be in Grenada next Sunday. Yeah. And he's going to join us, not just join us on the program, he's going to be sitting here in person, and, hey, hold on, and he's hoping to bring along a couple other people, whether they join us electronically or in person. Okay? So, kind of a mixed bag, if you will, this morning. All right? It's coming up on 4 minutes after 10 o'clock. I am surprised to see that some of you are already bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I see Peter. Peter's in Long Island this morning. Peter. Traveling salesman. Good to see you, bro. Margaret is wishing everybody a happy Easter. Margaret, I'm sure I speak for the rest of the cast when I say a very happy Easter to you as well. You're a very special person. Thank you for all your support and encouragement. You know, if you ever need a friend, somebody who's there when, not just when they need you, but when you need them, that's the person you turn to. Mags. Anthea, hello there, Anthea. Happy Easter to you too, my friend. A very good morning. Thank you for joining us. Haven't been seeing much of you lately. Guess you're doing those weekend shifts? Good to see you, girl. Bernard is wishing a happy Easter to everybody. Chris Davy. Chris lives on the north part of the island, up in St. Patrick. And she says it's raining there. Well, it's not down here, girl. We have a lot up to about 5 minutes ago. Lots of sunshine down here in St. George. But good to see you. John Crow Alexander. Here's John saying good morning and a good day to you all on this glorious Sunday, man. John Crow, is it ever a glorious Sunday? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's risen. Peter forgot to say Happy Easter to you folks a little while ago, so he's saying so now. And Grenada Sunshine is also wishing a Happy Easter to you all. All right. We'll get back to you guys in just a minute, all right? Right now, though, let's take a look at the rundown for the next just a little under 3 hours. First of all, as always, we've got a reading from the Holy Scriptures for you. And yeah, she's very brief this morning, but Little Angel has a contribution, which I'm looking forward to sharing with you in just a wee bit. Now, the Grenada Advocate is taking the week off. As far as the editorials are concerned, they're taking the week off. They notified me that there wouldn't be an editorial this morning, and so apparently they did not publish one on Wednesday of this week. They usually come out on Wednesdays. So they are not going to be around this morning. But we do have the new today, which is captioned, "How big a problem? Curious? Wait and find out. Wait and find out." So that's it for the editorials. Then we move on down to our interviews. First one is captioned, "Uncorked." It's about a wine and beer festival. And we have the promoter of that festival and the partner. His name is Wilvorn. I have not seen that name before. Wilvorn, Wilvorn, Grainger. He's going to be in here about 9:45 or so this morning. And that's our first of two interviews. The other one, boy, am I pumped up about this. A few weeks ago, I posted on the GRENADABROADCAST.com website some images of what's taking place down at Mount HARTMAN these days. Shameful. And I really didn't expect the sort of reaction that I got on Facebook. But a lot of you were concerned to see the sad state of affairs down there. And I decided that, hey, one of these days I really want to get out there with some people who know the area, know the story behind Mount HARTMAN, and could talk a little bit about what's happening there or not happening, as well as about the way we treat our environment. As a result, last Saturday, a couple of friends of mine, took me down there, and we drove around for about an hour and captured some footage. But in the mad rush, I was not able to get it edited in time for last Sunday's program. But thankfully, having Good Friday and yesterday, I got through at about 3:15 this morning. 3:15. That's when I pulled the curtains down. The piece is captioned, "What has become of Mount HARTMAN and what's becoming of our environment?" The two people who took me around were Mandoo Seals. You know that character you see, tour operator, very accomplished tour operator, won all sorts of awards. His name is Mandoo Seals. And he's also a member of the Grenada Green Group. Well, Mandoo and our mutual friend, Ian Blakey, took me around. Ian also works with Sunsation Tours, and he's also a member. Actually, probably the founding member, I'm not sure. Probably he and Mandoo did, I don't know. Anyhow, member of the Grenada Green Group. And when I do run that by you this morning, I hope that you really listen carefully to what these guys are saying. Not only that, after we dealt with the Mount Hartman situation, you know, it dawned on me, boy, it's not just Mount Hartman we're not taking care of. Our environment, period, is suffering at the hands of neglect. And it dawned on me, hey, look, there are also a number of really important landmarks that are just being neglected. And so put a little piece together with the Mount Hartman piece. And the piece will speak for itself. There's no narrative about the patrimony that we're going to show. But there's also a little segment that talks about the illusion. You know, the things that we open our eyes at and we're so excited about and da-da-da-da-da. And these old rundown buildings are just standing there in the shambles. You'll see some of them, okay? So that's the piece we're going to show you with Mandoo and Ian this morning. I hope you guys are watching. Our main feature this morning is captioned, "We're the last to know, but the oil and gas deal is on." Yeah. Yeah. Since last weekend, that's been the buzz on social media. One of the buzzes, I should say. There's always a lot of things buzzing around on social media. And I had planned on having this morning 3 people. I managed to get 2. But as I mentioned to you a little while ago, one had to pull out just a little over an hour, almost an hour and a half ago. And that is Dr. Patrick Antoine. But like I said, he's going to be in here in full gala next Sunday morning. However, coming in this morning to talk with us about the situation is attorney at law Claudette Joseph. And the reason why I invited Claudette is because just this past week she wrote a piece about the situation, which I'm going to share with you this morning as a prelude to the conversation we're going to have. And the fact that there's no editorial from the Grenada Advocate this morning opens up a little time for us to do that. Okay? So, back here to Facebook for just a minute. Ryan, hello Ryan, saying happy Easter to Gigi and his friends. Hope you've gotten over the loss of your puppy, Ryan. Coyle Nash is saying happy Easter to everybody as well. Richard St. Bernard says enjoy your Resurrection Sunday, George, and your community. What a community, Richard, and I'm glad that you're now a part of it. Thank you so much. Lydia James is wishing everybody a happy Easter. Mickaman Alexander is there. Well, we saw Grenada Sunshine already. I'm glad that even on a Sunday morning, on Easter Sunday morning no less, you guys are with us. So, let's take our first little break here, and we'll come on back.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Co-op Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank, and there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
Boyo, they gonna fly with kite now. The wind picking up.
I'm coming. Karim, what you doing?
Fly my kite.
Yeah, but not here. You can't fly kite near power lines, boy.
Why not? The wind good.
Because mommy say kite threads conduct electricity.
Yeah, kite. He's right.
If your kite gets stuck in power lines, you can cause power outages, or even worse, it can get shocked.
Come, let's go and fly them in the pasture.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Kite threads conduct electricity. Do not fly kites near overhead power lines. This can lead to electric shocks and power outages. If your kite gets stuck in power lines, do not try to retrieve it. Release it and call GRENADA. Always fly kites in open areas. Keep your kites far away from roads. And remember, always clean up after yourself.
GRENADA, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Okie doke, folks. It's now moved on here 17 minutes exactly after 9 o'clock. More folks are slowly creeping into the classroom. I see here that Charles Norma says, good morning to all my student friends. Glad you feel at home here, my dear friend. And he says he's looking forward to an exciting program. We're going to do the best we can, Charles. And Ryan says yes, he's gotten over the loss of his puppy. He and his puppy were very, very close, like me and mine. Those of you who've been with us over the years on this program know all about Brandy. She's appeared on the program several times. Oswin Lewis is saying good morning, and Kipling is also wishing you guys a happy Easter and God's blessings. Pilgrims, pilgrims, pilgrims. Now, let us, I feel honored to see so many of you this early on an Easter Sunday morning. And notice I said honored, not honored. Honored, like a certain politician says. Honored. We are honored. Okay, let's get to our opening scripture. Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil. Cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with the Lord's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless. Do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. If it is at all possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, it is mine to avenge. I will repay, says the Lord. On the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you will be heaping burning coals on his head. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Remember these words on this Easter Sunday morning. Carry them with you for the rest of your lives. A reading from Romans chapter 12, verses 9 to 21. Let's see here. Anthony hello, Tony. Anthony DeRiggs is saying good morning, everyone. Ryan says he's off soon to his Anglican church to pray for all souls, including mine. Put in a good word for all of us, Ryan, and I will for you as well. Okay, I mentioned that she's back. Yes, Little Angel is captioned this morning talking about one thing. Little Angel says, Grenadians continue to demonstrate outrage towards sexual molestation of minors, and the latest case involving a 41-year-old male was no different. Such outcries are justified, but shouldn't only apply to this one discussion. People who are serious about nation building cannot remain silent on the many matters of national importance and be vocal on one. There must be a way of curbing the wrongs and encouraging the right, identifying failures and promoting successes within a society. This is where media coverage plays a critical role. It is also necessary to engage stakeholders at all levels and direct difficult questions at those in authority. Coming alive when the discussion is on one particular instance isn't wise. Other issues, which are just as important, need to be discussed. Sexual molestation is unacceptable and should never be condoned. But it should not be the only discussion topic which gets Grenadians alive and talking. There is need to talk about many more matters of concern. So says Little Angel in her offering this week. Happy Easter, Little Angel. John Crow, let's see here. John Crow Alexander says, bless those who prosecute. No, John, no. Not prosecute. Persecute, John. He says, boy, that's a hard one to fulfill, but it pays big dividends. John. We'll leave it at that. Okay, break time, and then we'll get to the editorials.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover household as comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors always burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Conveniently located in the Grandstand Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Granads will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
But baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy. We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us as we energize our Speyside.
GRENLEC, energizing our Grenada.
Ah, yeah, he's here, he is here. Folks, time's now moved on to 26 minutes after the hour. Let's get to our only editorial today. And it comes to you from the New Today. It is captioned, "How Big a Problem?" An issue which is apparently going unnoticed in the country is the large quantity of illegal drugs picked up in the first quarter of the year by the Royal Grenada Police Force. The New Today has not been able to get an official figure from the police in terms of the quantities of drugs taken, nor the market value. However, it must be running in the region of 5 million EC dollars and above, given the quantity of ganja and cocaine recovered by the police between January and April from those plying the illegal drug trade. Each week, the front pages of our leading local newspapers have been dominated by these large quantities picked up by the police in raids all over the country. RGPF must be commended for their successes, but the issue speaks of a much wider problem with drugs in Grenadian society. It is quite obvious that there is a thriving drug trade on the island, and that a lot of money from the proceeds are in circulation on the island. But what is significant is that none of the persons arrested by the police for involvement in the drugs come from the so-called well-to-do areas in the country, like Lansopine, True Blue, and Wester Hall. Over the years, the cry in the country is that people who were living in these posh areas were the main financiers of the illegal drug trade, since the ordinary man did not have the financial resources to buy drugs in large quantities and bring them into Grenada. It is now clear as daylight that there has been a significant shift, since more and more of the so-called ordinary men and women on the island now have the means at their disposal to do the business on their own and not look to the so-called rich anymore to bring in the illegal drugs. Gone are the days when former Chief Magistrate Lyle St. Paul used to shout out in open court. Ah, yes. Where's Lyle? We're going to pause here for just a sec. Teleprompter gone kaput. Teleprompter gone kaput. Gone are the days when former Chief Magistrate Lyle St. Paul used to shout out in open court, "Bring the big fish," as he alluded to the rich and mighty who were suspected to be the major players in bringing drugs into the country. It should also be noted that despite these successful drug raids by the police, the criminal elements in society are not perturbed and are definitely carrying on their business as if nothing is happening around them. Shouldn't this be a cause for concern for the political directorate in charge of the nation's affairs? Are they turning a blind eye to the growing drug business on the island, given the clear evidence emerging from the police over the large quantities of drugs seized in recent months? The New Today is wondering how much of this drug money is actually in circulation on the ground, and thus giving a false sense about the growth in the economy, and in general lifting the standard of living of the people. How much of this money is helping to spur construction activities, as well as the importation of vehicles by a new and emerging class of people in Grenada who are benefiting from the proceeds of illegal drugs? Back in the 1970s, the Jamaica government allegedly turned to the exportation of drugs into the United States to obtain foreign currency in the face of an attempt to strangle its economy due to a bloody and bitter warfare among the two major political parties, one trying to install socialism in the country, and the other, which was known to be pro-Washington and favoring a capitalist path to development. It was rumored that airstrips were built in some mountainous parts of Jamaica, from where small planes were loaded with ganja to make the journey into the United States to export the drugs in exchange for US dollars. In one of our neighboring islands, the reports often making the rounds point to the illegal drug trade being a major player in the daily livelihood of the residents there. The talk on the ground is that many persons will bring solid cash to buy many buses and not approach local commercial banks for loans to do their transactions. Are we heading in that direction, given the large amounts of drugs that are being seized by the RGPF in recent weeks? The New Today is aware that some of the money obtained in the illegal drug trade has found its way into the political campaigning during the holding of general elections. The political directorate needs to get more sensitive to the growing problem, since those who give will often look for something back in return. The days of free lunches are long gone. The question that is now being asked is, how big a problem is Grenada facing, with more and more drugs being seized too often by police? There you have it. That's the editorial, which appeared in this past week's, Thursday's edition, actually, of the New Today. Back now back now to Facebook. Ryan says, Peter is right. When you bless those who insult you, God will grant you his blessing. He goes on to say, geez, the demon cocaine is now in Grenada. Grenada rich have too much to lose. Crack cocaine is the poor man's stuff. Then, SD Notap. I haven't seen this one before. Hello, SD Notap, N-O-T-A-P. says ganja should not be illegal. It is not a drug. Ooh. Okay. Ryan says ganja cannabis is big legal medicinal business in the United States. Yeah, we know it. Happening in Canada too, Ryan. Okie dokie, pilgrims. Break time. Then we'll come back with that piece from Claudette Joseph.
Start the stride to a healthy lifestyle at the 2019 annual Pump It Up Family Fun Walk. There'll be more fun, more smiles, and more prizes for families and friends. Join us in Carriacou on April 7th at 4 p.m. as we walk from the Harveyvale playing field to the Hillsborough tennis courts, and in Grenada on April 28th at 4 p.m. from the Mandoo playing field to the National Cricket Stadium. Packages cost $20 per person for up to 2 individuals and $15 per person for groups of 3 or more. Come out in your numbers to help us raise funds towards re-establishing the Carlton Home.
Welcome home.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Boy, yo, they gonna fly with kite now. The wind picking up. I'm coming. Karim, what you doing? Fly my kite. Yeah, but not here. You can't fly kite near power lines, boy. Why not? The wind good. Because mommy say kite threads conduct electricity. Yeah, kite. He's right. If your kite gets stuck in power lines, you can cause power outages, or even worse, you can get shocked. Come, let's go and fly them in the pasture. Yeah, that makes sense. Kite threads conduct electricity. Do not fly kites near overhead power lines. This can lead to electric shocks and power outages. If your kite gets stuck in power lines, do not try to retrieve it. Release it and call Grainger. Always fly kites in open areas. Keep your kites far away from roads. And remember, always clean up after yourself.
Grainger, energizing our Grenada.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Quad Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank. And there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home. Grenadian General Insurance Company. Strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company. Tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive. Motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary. Public liability. Professional indemnity. Directors liability. And wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Okie dokie, folks. Let's see here, 9:39 on a Sunday morning, not just any Sunday morning, Easter Sunday morning, folks. Jennifer Meyer says, good morning to you, George. Happy Easter to you and all your listeners. George, I'm in your stomping ground around Canada, vacationing and spending time with family. SD, not tap or no tap, says, great show. No tap, tell me something. How do you know? You've only been here for a few minutes, but I'm glad you like what you're seeing and hearing. So spread the word around, and we hope to see you. Not just on Sundays, but even during the week. Okay. Now, this past week, Claudette Joseph published a piece which is captioned Oil and Gas, Our Patrimony, Government's Secret. Pilgrims, let me share with you verbatim. Okay? On 31st March 2008, just months prior to the July 8th elections, the NNP government entered into a production sharing agreement with Global Petroleum Group, GPG, for the exploration, development, and production of offshore petroleum resources of Grenada. The agreement was signed against the legal advice of Grenada's lawyers, who specialize in energy law, and also against the advice of an expert team from the Commonwealth Secretariat. Also, on 31st March 2008, government issued GPG with an exploration license, giving GPG exploratory rights over 11 blocks. In issuing the license, government did not comply with the provisions of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Deposits Act, Chapter 240 of the 1990 Revised Laws of Grenada, or the Natural Gas Deposits Regulations, SRO number 14 of 2007. GPG is a private company that was formed in 2003, apparently for the specific purpose of entering into the agreement with government. None of the principals of GPG had prior experience or expertise in the oil and gas industry. When NDC took office in July of 2008 and saw that government advisors found the agreement disadvantageous, they sought additional advice from Dynamic Global Advisors, better known as DGA, an independent team of oil and gas experts based in Texas. DGA agreed with the earlier experts that the deal was a bad one. Quote, they went further and said the agreement was so blatantly one-sided in favor of GPG that it constituted a reprehensible bargain between the parties. Unquote. With this opinion from DGA, the NDC government tried its best to renegotiate the agreement with GPG so that Grenada could benefit from its oil reserves. By then, it was mid-2012. The elections were close at hand. GPG was not cooperating, and NNP was supporting GPG, not Grenada, making all kinds of noises, misleading, and lying to the people. After NNP won the elections in 2013, it announced that it would proceed with the arrangement with GPG. The agreement signed on March 31st, 2008, was due to expire in late 2012. As of today, the NNP has not told the nation whether they went ahead with this reprehensible 2008 agreement, or whether they took the opportunity to sign a new, more beneficial agreement. In fact, everything about the current arrangement has been hidden from the people of Grenada, treated as top secret, while we have to look to regional and international newspapers for information. The NDC strongly condemns this treacherous conduct against the people of Grenada. On September 21st, 2017, a report in the Trinidad Guardian newspaper indicated that Grenada, GPG, had discovered oil in its waters close to our border with Venezuela. Only after this and another report in an international online energy magazine did our Prime Minister confirm that, yes, oil was discovered. Our government never saw it fit to break this good news to the people. Was this because they knew that the news was only good for GPG? Since then, all news relating to developments in our oil and gas sector have originated from outside of Grenada. Government only makes reactionary, vague statements when forced to. Of course, the one exception was the election gimmick at Pearls on the eve of elections, when Mitchell once again tomfooled the people. Again, on March 21st, 2019, in Parliament, in responding to some questions from Senator Ron Redhead on the current arrangement with GPG, Senator Simon Steele, leader of government business in the Senate, told the nation that the deal with GPG was a sensitive commercial contract and therefore confidential and not subject to public perusal at this time. What utter hogwash! The people's business is being kept a secret from the people by those we hire to mind our business. Despite Steele's hogwash, an article appeared in the Trinidad Guardian days later disclosing a $3.4 billion exploration agreement between the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago and GPG. It seems that for the people of Grenada, our oil and gas business is a secret. But for the people of Trinidad, it is not. The NDC finds it deeply troubling that GPG has run into financial difficulties and is getting financial backing from a third party. And further, that there was no one from Grenada at the signing with NGC to look after the interests of Grenada. We call this out as recklessness and a dereliction of duty of the highest order. After 2 short years in office, NDC was able to conclude the Maritime Boundary Delimitation Agreement with Trinidad and Tobago in 2010. Mitchell claimed that the agreement was bad and he would redo it. He hasn't, because he cannot do better. By contrast, we note with concern that he has made absolutely no attempt to do the same with Venezuela since resuming office in 2013. This can have dire consequences for our future. The resources and minerals of our land and sea belong to the present and future peoples of Grenada, not Mitchell and his cronies. They are not protecting our patrimony. We call on every patriotic Grenadian to stand up and be counted. Start doing so by adding your voices and making sure we soon put an end to this madness. That's a piece from Claudette Joseph. Okay. Let's see. Where are we now? Hello, Nesta, out there in Switzerland. Nesta is saying good morning to us in Zurich, and she's wishing a happy Easter to everyone. Now, folks, I mentioned to you that this morning we do expect, I'm still hoping that he'll be here, a gentleman by the name of Wilvorn Grainger, who's a partner and promoter of the Uncorked Wine and Beer Festival. Haven't seen him, haven't heard from him, but I'll tell you what. We're going to take a little break here, and if by the end of that break he does not show up, we will simply move along to that piece that we shot on. Oh, there he is. Come on in, Mr. Grainger. Come on in and make yourself comfortable. Okay. Just let me take a quick look here at SD Notap. SD, this is a long piece, and I hope you have written it well, because if I bugger up halfway through it, I'm going to quit. He says, "Hi, George. I lived in the Caribbean for some 28 years. Although I am a born Brit. Radio has been a part of my life for many years. I had my own Sunday show on the island of Bonaire for some 12 years. I now live here in the Azores." Fayal, the Azores? Do you know how far away you are and you can hear us? I must be shouting. Whoa! He goes on to say, "As an environmentalist, ecologist, your program about oil extraction from the seabed got me interested in your show." Ah, thank you, sir. "Here is a link to my website. We have to stop this before they kill the environment that is feeding us and keeping us alive." Haha. Interesting. Sean Patton. I guess that's a quote from Sean Patton. "Years ago, when fighting some government bodies, they closed my Facebook account. So I opened another. SD Notap is my name, backwards." Okay. I gotcha. "We need to work together to stop this." And then he gives his website, his web address, his URL, which is www.azores, AZORES, AzoresTradewinds.com. Okay, SD, thank you so much for chiming in. Nice to see you. And I do hope that we will be seeing lots more of you. And in particular, since you're so interested in oil and gas, I hope that you'll join us next Sunday morning. Because let me tell you, when I spoke to Patrick Antoine a few minutes ago, that man was bubbling up, just ready to go. But unfortunately, things happen, and he's not able to be with us this morning. I also ask that you stick around, because Claudette Joseph, this is something that's very dear to her heart, and she should be in here this morning a little after 10:30 or so, okay? And by the way, SD says, "Happy Easter to everybody." Okay, break time, and then we'll get this gentleman all saddle up, and we'll have a little chat about the upcoming Uncorked Wine and Beer Festival.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Quad Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank, and there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
Boy, yo, they gonna fly with kite now. The wind picking up.
I'm coming.
Karim, what you doing? Fly my kite.
Yeah, but not here. You can't fly kite near power lines, boy.
Why not? The wind good.
Because mommy say kite threads conduct electricity.
Yeah, kite. He's right. If your kite gets stuck in power lines, you can cause power outages, or even worse, you can get shocked.
Come, let me go and fly them in the pasture.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kite threads conduct electricity. Do not fly kites near overhead power lines. This can lead to electric shocks and power outages. If your kite gets stuck in power lines, do not try to retrieve it. Release it and call GRENADA. Always fly kites in open areas. Keep your kites far away from roads. And remember, always clean up after yourself.
GRENADA, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Alrighty, folks, once again, for those of you who are only just joining us, a very happy Easter to you, and I certainly hope that in more cases than not, a very blessed one as well. Pilgrims, I want you to take a look. See, there he is. There he is. Good morning, Mr. Grainger, and how are you?
I am great. Pleasant good morning to you, and happy Sunday, and happy Easter to everyone.
Speak up a little bit. You know, there's somebody all the way in where? Hold on a minute here. In the Azores, and I want him to be able to hear you. So speak up.
Sure. Pleasant good morning to everyone. Happy Sunday and happy Easter.
Nice to see you, sir.
Same here.
Wilvorn, is that how you pronounce the name?
Yes, it's correct.
Would you believe I'm an old 67-year-old fogey? It's the first time I'm hearing that name, Wilvorn.
Yes.
Do you know anything about the origins of that?
I have no clue.
Mom and Dad pulled it out of a bag, eh?
Yeah, probably.
Listen, nice to see you. So you are a partner and promoter of the Uncorked Festival. It's not the first time you're having this, was it?
No, it's actually our fourth year.
Fourth year?
Yes.
And how did the previous 3 years go?
It has been good and has been growing. Kudos to the patrons and the persons who support us, because it has been increasing in attendance for the last 3 years.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about this festival. I want to know a little bit more about it. What is Uncorked Festival?
Uncorked is a beer and wine festival. Basically, we get all of the manufacturers and distributors of beers and wine in Grenada to come together to vend and educate Grenadians, and of course, through sampling and purchasing of the different wines and stuff like that. So it is basically an educational and also a commerce event, whilst you're enjoying it with friends and family. Good food and entertainment.
Okay, so is alcohol sold there?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And also sampled by the vendors.
And sampled.
Yes.
Okay. About how many vendors do you have selling the stuff?
With the wine vendors, we have about 4 wine vendors. We have Silver Sands, we have Huggins, we have independent agencies, and we have Braden and Miners as wine vendors, and also the beer distributors, Grenada Breweries, of course. We also have O'Brien Cedar Hall, who distribute Harun, and also independents would also be coming with their Corona Beer and Presidente.
Okay, so you got some well-known names there.
Yes.
You mentioned, I don't want to go too far without touching this, you mentioned that part of this Uncorked Festival is to educate. Well, what are you educating people about?
Well, the wines, of course, the wine vendors take the opportunity to educate the public and the patrons on the different type of wines, what type of wine you pair with different type of foods and stuff like that. So you have that kind of educational component of the event.
Okay. Do you teach them about, care and the consumption of alcohol and stuff like that?
Most definitely, and that is the opportunity really what we give to the public in terms of coming and learning, because of different stages in our lives we have different preferences. So it's actually an opportunity for them to come and learn. wine consumption is trending in Grenada, and we saw that as an opportunity now to have a festival to allow persons to learn a little bit more about the wines, the quality and care, and of course the pairing with different cuisines.
Are there any restrictions, age limits, or do children have to be accompanied by a parent or things like that?
Of course. While we have wine and beer as the basic thing, we also have a kids zone. So we do have
kids
treats.
zone?
Yes, we do have a kids area.
Milk and cherry juice.
and of course candies and stuff like that. And we planning to have like a entertainment area for them, so we can have some nice trending kids movies. So while the moms and dads are here enjoying and tasting, they will be on the secured area where we have adult supervision and have a nice kids area.
Okay.
Yes, so it is a family event. Yes, alcohol will be sold to the adults, of course.
Okay. There's a note here that just came in from somebody who's listening to you in New York. Margaret. Margaret wants to know, are any of the wines locally or regionally produced?
We will have local wine vendors this year. We have not had them, so this is the first year we'll be having local wine vendors.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me something. As far as local wines are concerned, when was it, boy? It was sometime last year. I think I was at one of the restaurants downtown, and a gentleman walked up to me. I had never seen this man in my life. And says, Mr. Grant, I make wines. And he's actually walking around with 3 bottles of wine, I guess trying to, establish himself in the market. And he said to me, I want you to take this. I want you to have this. And while I was appreciative of it, I'm not a big wine drinker. Wine makes me sleepy, so I don't drink wine. But I wondered, somebody who's just walking up to you off the street, yeah, the man is ambitious. He's trying to push his product. I have great admiration for that. But is it safe when you meet somebody on the street who walks up to you and offers you a bottle of wine?
Well, I am not too sure because we don't know what conditions that they would have created that wine under. So I cannot answer that in a positive nor in the negative.
Yeah.
But with the vendors that we have, we know they are established businesses. They are well known in their wines. So those are the persons who we target to come to be part of the Uncooked Beer and Wine Festival.
And these locally established wine connoisseurs, if you will, or beginners, are they doing well?
Well, we have one vendor, and from all indication, that person is doing well and is well known. So, hence the reason why we'd have got him in this year to be a local wine vendor. And it is part of the Wine Fest growth, is that because we have to, while we engage in and getting all of the imported wines distributed and sold by the different distributors locally, part of it is, of course, how can we build local commerce. So persons who are well established in the wines locally, they can also engage us, and we would, of course, get advice, because we are not wine connoisseurs, we are not wine producers, we are not wine manufacturers, for positive references on the wine to be part of the event.
So the mere fact that you're doing this year for the fourth time, I'm assuming that there is a demand.
Most definitely, and all of the wine distributors have always shared, listen, I will be back next year. So it shows that they are receiving some returns on their investment and being part of the event.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's very interesting. And this is going to be held where?
Quarantine Recreational Park.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, a big setting.
Yes, it is.
In terms of numbers, I imagine it has grown exponentially. What sort of numbers do you have, or have you had over the years? First year, second year, third year?
Yes, the first year was pretty small. We had probably about 700 persons.
700?
About 700, yes. And last year we were close to 2,000.
Hello?
Yes.
You mean that there are that many wine drinkers there?
Well, also persons liken the family event because we do have an entertainment component of it, and of course there'll be locals, the sale of foods. So we have that part. We have like the sushi. We have Silver Sands would also be coming selling foods also this year.
Oh, really?
Yes. We have the original jerk chicken guy. We have Just Grilling. We have Rain's Kitchen. So we have some nice delicacies to go with the beer and the wine part, and of course the lovely entertainment.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Kipling Francis says, is only my lovely Grenada, rum, rape, and jab jab, the three most talked about topics. Sad. To each his own, Kipling. Everybody deserves a right to speak, and that's something I enjoy doing. I may not agree with everything, but I do believe that people need to have a voice, speak out, and then you make the decision. What say you?
I agree. I mean, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and that must be respected. So we saw it as an opportunity, the Wine and Beer Fest. Oftentimes when promoters have events, right, you get people money and you do an event. This event is basically allowing for the vendors to get tangible returns on their sales. So you come in as a vendor, you do your sales, and of course it's in a family-friendly environment, very safe. We have always had positive responses for our event, quality event. So even if we don't make money, we persevere. And we try to encourage persons to come as much as possible to the event.
But you know, I trust, having said that, I trust that you can appreciate his apprehension. Alcohol abuse is rampant in this country today, rampant. And a lot of people are up in arms because they blame a lot of things that are happening in this place on the abuse of alcohol. So can you understand where this gentleman might be coming from? You know, I believe you have the right to speak here, sit here and speak to me. But I also understand some people are a little bit concerned. Can you understand that?
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
It has been increasing. Persons do take advantage of the consumption, right? And you have varying events where that occurs. And it's not that we are promoting abuse of alcohol. We don't do that. But what we do is that we create an environment because we see persons are getting and trending into the wines. We saw that as an opportunity where people can learn and purchase the wines, right? We do not have spirits. Right, so it is wine and beer. So we do not have the hard liquor and all of those things like that. You know, last year we had the distillery come and sample their liqueurs, right? So that time Amazing was trending. So I mean, everybody purchased that alcohol to give as a gift or something like that. So from that perspective, but we do not have any hard liquor in that event.
Well, I'll tell you, you just answered a question here. There's somebody in Florida by the name of Ryan Jabon. He's in Orlando, and he says here, Chardonnay and Zinfandel blank wines. Do you have any of those?
Yes.
We'll try and get you his address so you can send some stuff out to him.
Most definitely.
You talked about education a little while ago. Who are the people who are going to be providing this education?
The vendors. The vendors know the wines, they know the quality of the wines, they know the setting in which the wines are made. So they are the one, when you go to visit their booths, their respective booths, they will be educated you on the type of wines that they distribute and sell.
Okay, so these are the people who are going to tell you, okay, this particular wine was made in 1807, right?
Yes.
Okay, but what about the other education important about, you know, the responsible use of alcohol? Do you have anybody from the Ministry of Health or a doctor or somebody?
No, we don't. However, our host, which is independent from the vendors, will be promoting responsibility in terms of the consumption of alcohol. So we do have a host who will be speaking to the public throughout the event.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So once again, this is going to be held down at Quarantine Point, and when?
It will be Sunday, May 5th from 4 to 11.
That's not this coming Sunday. That's the following Sunday.
Following Sunday, yes.
Okay.
And it will be from 4 to 11. Gates open at 3 o'clock. Tickets are available at Grenadian Optical, both at Spiceland Mall and at Melville Street. Also, Gittins Pharmacy at Grandans, We also have tickets available online and also limited car park online. We also sell that at our www.
What about the car park?
Limited car
park.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we'll be selling that online also.
Okay.
And you can get that at our website, www.clickentertainment.gd.
CLIQUE. CLIQUE.
Entertainment.
One word.
Yes.
.com.
.gd.
.gd.
Yes.
Excuse me. Okay. And how much are these tickets?
$35, and children under 18 is $10.
Okay. So those $35 will entitle me entry.
Yes.
And once I get in there, I have to buy my stuff.
You buy your stuff, and of course the dealers of the wines, and they will be sampling. Also the beer persons will be sampling their drinks too.
Okay.
So you get free and you purchase if you do like.
Okay.
Yes.
Who are the leading beer suppliers you have?
Well, we have the Grenada breweries. Of course, they have a wide array of beers. We do have O'Brien Cedar Hull. He distributes Hyroon. Independence agencies will be coming with a Corona and Presidente beer.
Okay.
Yes.
Wilvorn, I'm glad that I met you. Wilvorn, I've learned a new name here this morning, and I thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Make sure everybody has a good time, but make sure they also behave themselves.
Most definitely. Well, before I leave, I would just like persons to acknowledge our sponsors.
Please.
Yes, we do have Silver Sands, which is our title sponsor. Right. We have Grenada Tourism Authority, Boss FM. We do have Netherlands Insurance and Court, silver sponsors. Victory Bar, SGU, Glenelg, Go to Fet, Pass Cargo, Got to Go, Sign Experts, GBN, Wagity Rentals, and we have Liat. Liat is also on board with us because they're giving 20% discount on the ticket for persons who are booking up to traveling to Grenada from May 3rd to the 7th, but they have to book by the 29th of this month.
People come from overseas for this festival?
Well, we are trying to get persons because I don't believe that they have another wine festival in our region. So we're trying to encourage persons to come to Grenada for that wine festival.
Boy, the Grenada Tourism Authority must be happy to hear that.
Well, they have been on board with us from day one.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Wilvorn Grainger. Wilvorn Grainger. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
meeting you.
Thank you, and all the best.
Okay. Hang in there. Keep comfortable for just a minute, and we're going to get back with Mr. Grainger. Just want to remind you that coming up next, Pilgrims, pure what? That's the question we're going to be asking next. It's a little piece that was put together, finished editing that after 3 o'clock this morning. And it's something we shot. Actually, we shot since last Saturday. And I spent Friday and Saturday putting it together and finished late last night. We're going to get to that in just a wee bit. Hang in there.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Conveniently located in the Grenada Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grenada will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy. We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us as we energize our spice side.
GRENLEC, energizing our Grenada.
All right, there's a note here. There's a note here from Anthea. Anthea says, I wish I were able to attend. Sounds very interesting. What's stopping you, girl? You got a couple of weeks, 2 Sundays from now. Hop on an airplane, come on. Liat? No, you're going to need more than Liat to get here. But anyhow, wish them well. Pilgrims, for those of you who may not have been with us for the early part of the program, I just want to remind you that one of our 2 guests who should have been here this morning, a name that you did see when we published the rundown yesterday, Dr. Patrick Antoine, he's not going to be able to join us this morning to talk about the oil and gas scenario here in Grenada. But we are going to be joined by Claudette Joseph, who is the PRO person for the National Democratic Congress, and she should be in here at about 10:30. That's in about 13 minutes or so, while you're listening to this piece that we're about to bring to you. Okay, so saddle up, and I would appreciate if you guys, think about what you're watching, and then be prepared to make comments. Okay, on Facebook. Or, by the way, speaking about Facebook, George, you have been negligent this morning. I mean negligent, big time, because you have not paid any attention to Rumble Chat. So just let me turn to Rumble Chat here for a moment. Well, Kipling saying good morning and sending blessings. We Will Rise is saying a glorious good morning to all. Happy Easter. And so is PM to the Bone. I think that's Petty Martinique to the Bone. Yeah, not a lot going on Rumble Chat this morning. You guys came in this morning in an influx, and then suddenly you seem to have simmered down and started enjoying your Easter Sunday. Okie doke. Ready. Folks, Mount Hartman and our environment. That's the topic of the next piece you're about to see. We were told this was going to be the site for one of the most prestigious hotels in the world, hotel chains, I should say, in the world, the Ritz-Carlton. But you take a drive out there one afternoon, I think you'd be saddened by what you see. We shot this last Saturday, and I want you to sit back. It's about Mount Hartman, but at the end, we talk about, the degradation that's taking place. We didn't talk about it, but we show you some of the degradation, some of the old structures that are just dulling the St. George environment. Take a look, my friends. your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. Trying to figure out what went wrong. And I'm sure that we're going to be hearing from you guys. I'm already seeing you guys on Facebook foaming at the mouth. Yes, sir. I was watching this piece up until the early hours of this morning. So I'm not sure why you're getting a black screen. Just hold on a minute here. Let's just keep dilly-dallying around and see what happens. But I know that the piece is there. Oh, yeah. Anthea says sabotage. Anthea, no, I don't. Not yet. I doubt that very much. Because there I am. Ain't no sabotage there. Nesta says, that's what you call looking but can't see. Maintain your sense of humor, please, folks, and give me some time to try and resolve this. I'm going to work on it. Hang in there.
Start the stride to healthy lifestyle at the 2019 annual Pump It Up Family Fun Walk. There'll be more fun, more smiles, and more prizes for families and friends. Join us in Carriacou on April 7th at 4 p.m. as we walk from the Harveyvale playing field to the Hillsborough tennis courts, and in Grenada on April 28th at 4 p.m. from the Monrouge playing field to the National Cricket Stadium. Packages cost $20 per person for up to 2 individuals and $15 per person for groups of 3 or more. Come out in your numbers to help us raise funds towards re-establishing the Carlton Home.
Welcome home.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of...
Okay. Hang in there. Hang in there. This kid's a resilient kid, you know, so hang in there. No, that's not going to work. Well, what do you know? I'll tell you what. There's only one more thing that could go wrong this morning, and that is for Claudette not to show up. Yeah. I'm hoping that, please, Claudette, please show up. She should be here any minute now because she's due to go on at 10:30. But I'll tell you what, if you guys can keep me preoccupied for the next little while, I would certainly appreciate that. Ernesto says, I heard Claudette Joseph will be on the program. Is that true? Well, assuming that everything works well from here, yes, she will be on the program. Folks, I'm trying here to think ahead, and assuming that we don't get this piece on this morning, we are going to get it on for you on Tuesday morning, because Georgie Porgy has every intention of taking the day off tomorrow. Days off are pretty hard to come by, and I have an opportunity to grab one tomorrow, so that's exactly what we're going to do. I'll tell you what else I'm going to do to keep my sponsors happy. Let's run some stuff here.
Pump it up, pump it up. Pump it up, pump it up. Pump it
Start the stride to healthy lifestyle at the 2019 annual Pump It Up Family Fun Walk. There'll be more fun, more smiles, and more prizes for families and friends. Join us in Carriacou on April 7th at 4 p.m. as we walk from the Harveyvale playing field to the Hillsborough tennis courts, and in Grenada on April 28th at 4 p.m. from the Montrouge playing field to the National Cricket Stadium. Packages cost $20 per person for up to 2 individuals and $15 per person for groups of 3 or more. Come out in your numbers to help us raise funds towards re-establishing the Carlton Home.
Welcome home.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have been busting my chops here trying to get this thing sorted out. Ain't having any luck so far. Ain't having any luck. And guys, if I've ever called on you for help, this morning's going to be it. Because Claudette is somebody who usually shows up here on time. I ain't see she. I haven't seen Claudette. She should have been here at 10:30. It's now 10:31. I don't think there's any traffic out there at the fight this morning to be fought. So I'm hoping that you guys can become very creative and start throwing out stuff that you may want to get off your chest. Start throwing stuff out there on social media, and that will keep me busy for a little while. You can do so either on Rumble Chat on the GrenadaBroadcast.com website. Opie here, by the way, says, I have a serious concern about the long-term effects on our lovely islet's future of what may become of it. Not if, but when the big oil spillage occurs by incompetent, inexperienced oil prospectors. We really should leave those resources under our seabed and continue our livelihood from tilling the soil and fishing our seas. Opie, that's an interesting comment, and it's one that's shared by a lot of people. Just this past week, I think it was, I mentioned on the program that I and a lot of other people are finding it difficult to understand why we have become so obsessed with oil, when it seems like there's also a lot of talk about, the world going green. Fossil fuel is supposed to be on the way out. But yet we are throwing everything at the foot of oil. Hey, there's probably some rationale, which I personally, and I confess, I personally don't understand. If you understand that rationale, please share it with us. You can do so either on Rumble Chat or on Facebook. Okay? PM to the Bones on Rumble Chat says, George, why is Nawasa distributing untreated water in Petit Martinique? Now, let me see. Let me add 2 and 2. I hope I come up with 4. Somebody from, I'm suspecting that person was in Petit Martinique. Somebody sent me an article a couple of days ago. It wasn't captioned PM to the bone, but a person sent me this article, which I published on the website, complaining about the water in Petit Martinique being untreated. It was a grave concern, and just based on what he was saying, I sort of got the feeling that this is not some airhead who just decided to go no. This person seemed to know at least a little bit about what he was talking about. And I published that. And if you have a chance, just do a little search there for maybe Nawasa, I think it is. And see if you find it, because it was a very interesting story. And he's saying that the water is not appropriate for consumption the way it is. And he's calling on the matter to be addressed. Okay? Margaret says, hold on a second. Well, where's it? Margaret was saying a little, is when technology run amok. Yeah, girl, that's sure happening here this morning. Bernard Gilbert says, is the minister calling out people who talk on social media keyboard advocates? Yeah, I understand social media took a licking. Yeah? Well, yeah. In many cases, deservedly so. In many cases, and you know me already, I'm up front. I ain't gonna lie to you. It happens. There's a lot of crap out there in social media. And I was one of the biggest critics of social media, and to some extent I still criticize social media, but gotta be honest with you, I am learning a lot of truth out there in social media. Social media, like the internet itself, is a good medium. But because of the rights and freedoms that we have, a lot of evil people use the internet for evil purposes. Evil purposes. Yeah, and that's pathetic. Because there's nothing wrong with the medium itself, whether you call it the internet or you call it social media, you know. Nothing wrong with it. It's just that there's some people don't know what to do with themselves, who wake up in the morning, I got my smartphone. And they do so damn much damage to our country. But you know what? They don't realize it yet, but they're doing even more damage to themselves. Yeah. Shame, isn't it? Shame. Let me see here. Anthea Rello says, in the words of Paul Keynes Douglas, strange things going on here today. Yeah, Anthea, where are you, girl, when I need you? Keep talking, because I'm running out of stuff. Ernesto Joseph says, I am having a problem with Facebook video freezing up and then cutting off. So says Ernesto. She is, thank you, Lord. She just walked in. Claudette, wait until you see them colors. Wait until you see them colors. The woman dress up on Easter Sunday morning. Thank you so much. All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a little break here. Give her a second to catch her breath. Kipling says, does anyone share my grief? I truly miss the good old days when anyone older than you could flog you, and you cannot tell when you go home. And when your teacher in school was like a mother or father. Yeah, I remember those days. I had a teacher. Her name was Bridget David. And this is when I went to school at the old church. Remember that old church? Yeah. And I also had a headmaster by the name of J.E. Pear. And these people weren't just teachers. My mom and my dad took damn good care of me. And they taught me every step of the way, from childhood up until I was in my 40s, okay? But I'll tell you, Teacher Bridget and Mr. Pear, they were two of the most influential people in my life. And I will never, ever forget that. You know, when I see what teachers are going through these days, you know, you can't help but wonder. Can't help but wonder. And having said that, George will probably get into hot water for this too, but he can't help it. He has to tell the truth. I have seen some kids in the classroom now who call themselves teachers. And my friends, when you look at these kids, you ask, what hope is there for our youngsters? You don't believe me? Come and sit in this chair for a day and receive the press releases that are sent, especially the ones that come from government. Our people out there can't construct a proper sentence. They can't punctuate. They can't spell. But they hold high positions. That, folks, it's hard to blame them. They are a product of the education system. When I was a kid, we didn't have this thing you call CXC and what? All this mess they have today. But I learned to read and write. Anyway, let me take a break, and we'll come back here in a sec with Claudette.
Conveniently located in the Grenada Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grenada will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
All right, folks. All right. Wow, let me tell you, Claudette, if this place was not air conditioned, I would be sweating right now because we had a little issue. Just sit back there and relax for a minute. She's trying to set up her thingy. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Claudette. I was saying that I was sweating here for a little while because we had some technical issues here.
Okay.
But we have got those resolved now. And then when I know that you're always on time, and when I didn't see when I didn't see you on time, I started wondering whether you were gobbling up all the hosts in church this morning. How you doing, my friend?
No. I'm not hearing you in the...
That's fine. You're not going to hear me. Just go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Good morning, George.
How are you?
I'm sorry to be a little late, but I had to go
It's not like you.
celebrate the risen Christ.
Absolutely.
Important to do that, especially on this special day, which is the birthday of Christianity.
Absolutely.
So happy Easter to you.
To you too.
And happy Easter to all of your listeners, wherever they may be.
Was there a good turnout in church this morning?
Yes, there was, in fact.
Yeah?
Yes, there was. I was concerned about the turnout on Good Friday, though.
There's a procession that passes down here, I think on Palm Sunday.
Yes.
And that was pretty sparse as well.
Yes.
Very few people attended that.
Uh-huh. And Good Friday, the Passion, you know.
Yeah.
Normally, the church is packed. Although there were 2 sessions on Good Friday. There was a morning and then there was 3 p.m. But normally the church is packed, you know, standing room only. And there were lots of spaces in between the pews on Good Friday. So I wonder whether the tradition is dying, you know.
I don't know. I don't know. And who was a former prime minister who used to say, I don't want to know.
But it was, this morning was well attended.
Okay.
Yes.
Claudette, I extended an invitation to you because I was expecting that we would have a very detailed conversation this morning about, you know, this recent oil and gas article.
Yes.
Now, I don't know whether you're aware or not, but we did manage to get a gentleman by the name of Dr. Patrick Antoine. Ever heard that name?
Surely.
Yeah?
Yes.
Well, Patrick was going to be with us, but unfortunately at about 7:45 this morning, he called and explained to me that he would not be able to attend because he had something to do with his daughter.
Oh, okay.
However, that's the bad news.
Mm-hmm.
The good news is that not only is, and by the way, he's in Trinidad today,
right? Mm-hmm.
But he is going to be in Grenada to visit his mom.
Okay.
Next week.
Okay.
So he's going to be sitting in the same chair.
Okay.
That you're sitting in.
All right.
And
That's better.
It's even better.
Yes.
All things work together for good for those who love the Lord.
Indeed.
All right. And he also hopes to bring along a couple other participants with him.
Okay.
So you're helping me out this morning big time. If not, boy, I don't know what I would have done if you didn't show up in 5 minutes.
You know, I always show up in the right time.
Yeah. By the way, nice dress.
Thank you.
Claudette,
special mention to my brother. Happy Easter to you, Fabian.
Where is he?
In Ottawa, Canada.
He's in Ottawa?
Yeah.
And of course you called him
I mentioned him specially because he shopped for this dress for me.
Oh, well. And matching shoes and everything. Okay. Claudette, I asked you here because of the recent article which appeared in the Trinidad Guardian about oil and gas.
Mm-hmm.
Let me start with a basic question. What was your first reaction when you saw that?
Annoyance. It's quite annoying. Actually, worse than annoying. It's a source of anger for me, and I hope it is for many more Grenadians.
Mm-hmm.
That we keep learning about what's happening with our patrimony, our oil and gas resources, from outside press. from articles in newspapers, regionally and internationally. And our government continues to be tight-lipped about what's happening, sharing information with us. This particular article was specifically vexing because only a few days before, not even a week before, days before the article appeared, in the Trinidad Guardian, Senator Ron Redhead in the Senate posed some questions to the leader of government business. And the response given by Senator Simon Steele on behalf of the government was that he could not share the information, he could not give information on what's happening in the industry, on our business, because the agreements between government and GPG were all confidential and not for public consumption. And so too was any agreement that GPG made with third parties. And only days after giving that response, the article appeared in the Trinidad Guardian. So it seems as though when comes for the people of Trinidad and Tobago and other people with whom GPG is doing business, information could be shared and can be public. But for us, we are left in the dark. And this has been the situation from inception. People like me, George, we have had to go digging and rummaging through bits of information here and there from various sources. Nothing given voluntarily by our government, no releases through the GIS, no releases from the communications department of GPG if they have one, nothing of the sort. But what I have found in my research is extremely troubling. Extremely troubling.
Stuff that we don't already know?
Some you may not know. I don't know how much the public knows because, yes, Naziberg, former Minister of Finance, spoke quite a bit about the state of things as the NDC government found it when they took office in 2008. And that's as much as we know in terms of official statements from government. And there may be some that the public doesn't know, because if you don't go digging, there's quite a bit of stuff online if you do the research. But some things you won't get by research. Some I had to search at the company's registry, assistance from colleagues across the oceans, you know, and that's how I got quite a bit of the information that I have. But the whole thing is that, look, whatever natural gas resources we have, whatever oil and gas resources we have, belongs to the people of Grenada. That's our patrimony. And the government, they're just trustees. We elected them to take care of our business. And the reason why I say I find the information that I've uncovered so far to be very troubling is that it seems, from all that I have found, that our resources no longer belongs to us.
Okay, stick a pin here for a minute. You're raising a very serious point there, which I wanted to elaborate on. But Claudette, when it comes to signing agreements, there's been an outcry that government has not been open with the people, and I think this is the point that came up in Parliament the other day.
Yeah.
And the minister was trying to make the point that, hey, listen, there are certain things about agreements. I mean, not forget oil and gas and ordinary business agreements. There's certain things that are very sensitive, and you cannot rationally, expose certain things to the public. Do you agree that to some, I'm not saying that's the case, but to some extent, that might be the case? I think right now there's an outcry because there's so much we're being kept in the dark about.
George. Quite frankly, that's a cop-out. Now, this is our business, and nobody to date has demanded disclosure of the entire agreement between the government and GPG. And we understand that given the nature of government business, not every detail in arrangement between the government and third parties and private individuals, not every detail would be for public consumption.
Right.
We acknowledge that.
Okay.
But we are entitled to basic information.
Yes.
We are entitled to basic information.
Well, they told us they found gas.
Because it is our property, right? So, as of today, the government all it has said is that it has entered into an arrangement with GPG. All right? First of all, it is quite within our rights as conscientious Grenadians to ask, who is GPG? Because you're not talking about Shell, you're not talking about ExxonMobil, you're not talking about any of the well-known and well-established companies involved in the oil and gas industry. You're not. So we have a right to know, first of all, who is GPG? And why enter into an arrangement with GPG as opposed to an established player in the industry? There may be a good reason, but it is within our right to ask why. Secondly, the government is obligated, I would say, I would put it that high, to tell us the basic parameters of the agreement with GPG. The extent of the agreement, how long, what basically you've given them under the license, how many blocks, the duration, and very importantly, what do we expect to get out of the agreement? Right? We don't know any of that. How many jobs are going to be created? How many Grenadian jobs are going to be created by this new sector that we are embarking on? And I think from what I have uncovered, George, I think there's a good reason why government is not telling us. Because you know what? The news is not good. It is not good. And I could explain why it is not good. And I would really like for us to have when I say us, I mean the people of Grenada, have a one-on-one, have some kind of interaction with the government and with Minister Bowen in particular, because he is the person in government presumably authorized by the cabinet to enter into these arrangements. All of what I've seen have been signed by him on behalf of the government of Grenada, and he seems to be the lead man on this. And I tell you most solemnly, based on what I have seen, he's not done good by us at all. And I could explain myself. First of all, GPG was formed on 11th December 2003. for the specific purpose of entering into an oil and gas exploration and development arrangement with Grenada. So you're talking about a new company with no experience as an entity in the industry. The second thing I find interesting about GPG is that GPG is owned by a Belizean company called Multiple Investments Limited.
GPG is owned by a Belizean company?
GPG is owned by a Belizean company.
I thought it was a Grenadian company.
No, GPG is a Grenadian company.
Okay.
GPG is a Grenadian company.
But it is owned.
But it is, its owner is another company, which is a Belizean company. Because you know a company can own a company.
Yeah.
The owning company would be the holding company.
Yeah, right.
And the company that's owned will be the subsidiary.
Right.
So GPG is essentially a subsidiary, if you want to call it that,
Of a Belizean.
of a Belizean company named Multiple Investments Limited. That Belizean company is owned by one man. You know, like how Cap Bank was basically owned by one man and the dangers associated with that? We're talking two different companies, but it's a similar scenario in terms of ownership. Owned by one man, a gentleman named Edward Vasiliev. He is a national of Russia, and he also holds a passport from, or citizenship of some sort, from Cyprus. All right? And I've seen certain documentation that may suggest that he is a man of some worth, but that has not been backed up by the arrangement, as I have discovered, with the government of Grenada. I mean, I've been here before, and I know I've heard Naz on this same program and Franca and so speaking about some of the background. I don't know if your listeners would want to hear some of it, but essentially, we had a prior oil and gas arrangement with RSM Corporation. That's the company based out of Texas in the USA, owned by Jack Greinberg. All right? And that was in 1996. And then sometime in 2003 or 4, just around the time when GPG came into the picture, government ended the arrangement with RSM. And that caused RSM to sue the government of Grenada before the International Center for the Settlement of Investment Disputes, that's ICSID. And GPG wanted to obtain a license or to enter into an agreement with the government of Grenada while the matter with RSM was still pending. And it seems as though the government of Grenada was nervous about this, and naturally so. That's understandable, because they did not know what the outcome of the dispute with RSM would have been. So GPG said to them, look, we want to enter into this arrangement with you now, for whatever reason, we want to do it now, and we are going to undertake to indemnify you or to refund you for any loss or any judgment that RSM may obtain against you. Added to that, we are going to assist you with paying your legal fees for the case with RSM. And the legal fees they agreed between themselves would be $2.5 million US. And GPG and government of Grenada signed an agreement on 28 September 2005. And under that agreement, GPG was to pay $2.5 million into a specific account of the government of Grenada held at Republic Bank. And somehow GPG only paid 1.9 of the 2.5 to the government. And then Mr. Vasiliev wrote a letter to Mr. Boeing saying, I know the agreement requires us to pay 2.5, but based on your instructions, I have paid 1.9 in, and the remaining 600,000 I have paid to Mr. Lev Model. Now, Lev Model was a gentleman who was involved with the call centers. You know that call center, that famous call center in St. Andrew where our money jumped up and the Prime Minister's relatives were involved. Lev Model was also involved with that. And subsequently, Lev Model was convicted in the US for wire fraud. Right? Lev Model at the time was a director of GPG. And Mr. Vasiliev is writing to Mr. Bowen saying, listen, we have to pay government 2.5, so that's the people of Grenada money, you know. But you tell me pay only 1.9 and give Mr. Lev Model the other 600,000, and I'm just writing to let you know that I've done that. So the money was paid to Lev Model and it disappeared. One of the things I learned,
that's $600,000.
600,000 US dollars. One of the things I learned is that 40,000 US dollars was subsequently deposited by Mr. Lev Model into an account at then Barclays Bank, which we know now as FCIB, owned an account of the New National Party. The rest of it, I don't know where it disappeared. Right? So,
Claudette,
yes?
Claudette, you're going too fast for me. I'm a little bit slow. Take me by the hand. You mentioned something a little while ago about the Belizean company that owns GPG.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we all know by now that GPG ran out of money.
They
had some financial
ran out of money. Well, from what my conclusion based on all that I've seen is that GPG never had any money.
Okay, well,
to start with.
You make it even more difficult. I was going to ask you this. If GPG decides that they cannot continue with the drilling and they're owned by the
Belizean company,
isn't that company under obligation to help this company fulfill their obligation to the people of Grenada?
You see, both companies are owned. Okay, it's really one man behind the whole thing, you know, because Multiple Investment Corporation is owned 100% by Mr. Model, right? That was up to the time when these arrangements were entered into with the government of Grenada. I think there was a recent change, which is what enabled GPG to do whatever little bit of work they've done, whatever little bit of drilling they've done. There's a company in Russia called I think it's AFK Sistema. They recently, I'm talking about 2017, 2018 thereabout, recently apparently bought an interest in GPG. Not GPG. In the Belizean company. Right? Because it's Belizean company that owns GPG. So they recently apparently bought an interest in the Multiple Investments, which enabled GPG to get some funds. I think the total is about $169 million. That caused GPG to do whatever little exploration and drilling, and so they did between 2017 and early 2018. Right? And after that, GPG, it appears doesn't have the money to do the work, never did, and also doesn't have the experience, it being a new company, so that there's no track record in oil and gas. And further, the people behind GPG do not have a track record in the oil and gas industry.
Which is a separate issue, and I want to talk to you about
Yes.
that. But Claudette, wouldn't the government of Grenada had done due diligence? You're signing an agreement with GPG, or any company for that matter. Wouldn't you have done due diligence to make sure they have the moolah?
They ought to have. They ought to have. No, I'll tell you something. From inception, GPG displayed that it hadn't the money necessary to undertake this kind of development and exploration. Because outside of the 1.9 or the 2.5 million, which was split in two, as I explained earlier, there is no evidence that I could find anywhere that any other money was paid to the government of Grenada by GPG. Now, under the agreement that was eventually signed, right, between the government pertaining to the oil and gas in particular. So there were three main agreements. There was the one of 28 September 2005 that dealt with the RSM case and the 2.5 million, right? That's to take care of Grenada and Grainger. Then there was a production sharing agreement, which was signed on 31st March 2008. 31st March 2008. That has to do now with the oil and gas exploration itself. And then there was the license, the oil and gas exploration license itself, granted pursuant to the Petroleum Development Act of Grenada, which, by the way, they did not comply with. I might need to come back next week, because we won't have time. Which, by the way, in issuing the license, government did not comply with the requirements of our own law. Right? So there were three agreements. That license was also issued to GPG on the 31st of March 2008. All of this was before the case with RSM was resolved. Now, the September 28, 2005 agreement, which dealt with RSM and how GPG is going to cover whatever costs we incur or pay whatever judgment that may have been given against us. That agreement also said that when the case with Grainger is completed, then the government would enter into a production sharing agreement and issue a license. Somehow, GPG was able to get our government to enter into these agreements prematurely. It makes you wonder, because they entered into the agreements prematurely on March 31st, 2008. Well, we all know what happened in July 2008. So it begs the question whether there was a premature rush into the agreement because the elections were upcoming. It makes you wonder. But anyway.
And we were advised not to go ahead.
Oh, yes, okay. Yes. But so we were advised. We had expert advice from the lawyers that was then advising the government of Grenada and also representing Grenada in the case against Grainger. And the lawyers advised that the agreement that GPG wanted us to enter into with them, we should not, because it was not in the best interest of our country.
Something else that raises eyebrows. GPG failed to deliver on their agreement.
Oh, indeed.
Right, fine. Isn't that, assuming this is on the up and up agreement, isn't that grounds for
to vitiate the contract? Absolutely. That would be grounds to avoid the contract, because under the contract, I think it was Article 6 of the contract, GPG was to pay $10 million into our treasury within a month of signing of the contract. That was not done. As far as I can tell, that $10 million was never paid. Because by the time government changed, of course a month had long gone, it was discovered that the money was never paid. Right? What ended up happening was that there was an advisory committee that the government had set up, made up principally of public officers and other people locally. And somehow they decided now this is an ad hoc advisory committee that was set up to advise government on oil and gas. I don't know that there were any specific experts in that committee in any event. But anyway, there's mainly public officers and so. And that committee somehow decided that instead of GPG paying the $10 million required under the production sharing agreement, they will accept from GPG a letter, a comfort letter. I think I obtained a copy of the letter. A letter which basically said, a letter from Mr. Vasiliev's bank in Russia, which basically said that he's been banking with them for a long time. He's a wealthy man, and that in the last year, the turnover of the business he did with the bank was in the region of $25 million. Right? And for them, that was as good as him or his company depositing with our treasury $10 million. So we lost big time there. And even more so the normal course of things. And perhaps when you have the more technical people here, they would be able to give more details on this, on what I'm about to say. But from my understanding, in the ordinary course of things, in the oil and gas industry, what you would have is that your area, your space, where it is suspected there may be resources, is divided in blocks. Our law provided for how these blocks were to be derived. And different companies, different oil and gas exploration companies, will bid to explore the various blocks. So you have a lot of bidding going on at the same time for various blocks. And in order to bid, each time a company submits a bid, they pay millions, in the region of 10 million. That's the global standard, about $10 million. So what our government was supposed to do was to divide the area in blocks and open it, send out invitations to bid globally, which is actually what Guyana has been benefiting from in the last few years. Because they haven't really started getting money out of the oil and gas extraction yet. But you see what is happening to the economy of Guyana. Because just by bidding, the country makes tens of millions of dollars. In our case, we had no bidding process whatsoever. We entered into an arrangement with this newly formed, inexperienced, broke company. Right? And even so, the $10 million that they were to deposit in our treasury, they didn't deposit. Our people decided we're going to accept a letter saying that the man is doing business worth $25 million a year with some bank in Russia. Well, if you're doing business with a bank in Russia worth $25 million a year, deposit 10 into our treasury.
So you're saying that no funds were deposited in the treasury?
None.
Okay.
So when I understand Mr. Bowen said on a program last week, Wednesday, he was pressed how much money has gone into our treasury, and ultimately he said 20 million. I want Mr. Bowen to show us where that $20 million went, because there's no evidence. Now, if we yield...
Are you prepared to make an official request to Mr. Bowen?
I don't have a problem. I hereby make a request.
In writing?
Well, I don't have a problem with that. Show us where it went, because...
No, because I think the people need to know that these guys are under fire.
Yeah, because I don't have a problem with that.
I'm seeing questions here. I'm seeing questions here in social media. People want to know what recourse they have. What recourse do we? There was obviously recklessness here. The people are not experienced. They have money. You sign up with them.
And all down the road, all up to now, because we're hearing about China operation with some company from China, right? A collaboration. Bottom line is, all the deal with National Gas Company now, all this thing we're reading about National Gas Company of Trinidad, and the cooperation with the Chinese company, all of that stems from the fact that GPG has no money. They don't have the money, they don't have the expertise, they don't have the experience.
Recklessness.
They don't.
Recklessness.
Right?
Claudette, who in Grenada would be prepared to take on a case in defense of the Grenadian people?
But let me tell you this. We can write formally, ask Mr. Bowen to provide, because if our country yielded $20 million so far from the industry, it should have appeared in our budget statement, not so?
Yes.
We say what we get from fisheries, agriculture, tourism. Hello?
Claudette, when you write that letter, let's publish it. Let's let the whole country... People want something to be done.
Yes.
And when it is done, we now have to let them know that it has been done. Not just...
Exactly. Now, you see, let me tell you this, I was asked a similar question on another program I appeared on. And people of Grenada, listen to me well. Listen well. When you hear that once every 5-year exercise comes around, and you go into that little box, you and that ballot paper and that pencil, and you put that X, there are consequences to what you do. There are consequences to what you do. All right? Because one of the things I have learned is that when the government was changed in 2008 and realized the bad deal, right? Just from looking at the documentation that the outgoing New National Party left, including the advice from the lawyers and from the Commonwealth Secretariat, the new government, that's a new NDC government, concluded that this thing needs a revisit. We can't just go forward based on everything we are seeing, right? They didn't just rely on that. They got an independent group. They bring in a fresh group of experts, independent group, to review everything. These are people who advise big governments, United States, Norway, whatnot. They say, look at all these things. They give them all the documentation, the license, the production sharing, this, that. And they gave them all the documents and they said, look at this thing and tell us, give us an opinion, because we want to move forward and do what's right for the people of Grenada. While these independent experts were analyzing all the documents, the government, led by Mr. Burke, was continuously engaging GPG, having meetings, asking questions, trying to find out why they didn't comply with the agreement, why they didn't pay the 10 million, where is the 600,000 that's missing, why did you sign the agreement before the matter with RSM was resolved. All these questions. They were meeting with GPG and trying to negotiate a better deal. People of Grenada, these things don't happen overnight. They do not happen overnight. It turns out, by the time the case with Mr. Greinberg was finalized and determined in government's favor, Grenada government won that, right? And just as a side, when Mr. Bowen and Dr. Mitchell said they had to pay for the case, that was a lie. That's not true, right? Anyway, government won that. Energy minister at the time was Mr. Burke. Then it's 2012 already. It's 2012 already. And then the independent experts, right, came back with their final opinion to government. And it is already March 2012 by then. And then by February 2013, the government is removed. and you put back the same people so in a matter of months.
All right.
So they hadn't time to really take action based on the opinion, the independent opinion that was given.
Claudette, let me take a little break here, come up for some air, because I also want to share some of the comments that are showing up on social media. First of all, on Rumble Chat, Tessa Barry says, as Grenadians, we seem not to care about our own business. This is information that is out there for years, yet there is not great public outcry. None. So says Tessa. Kipling says, the agreement was never meant to be in the interest of the country, but for a few who have mastered the art of deceitfulness. He also goes on to say, Mr. Grant, I understand why you would use the term recklessness, but I disagree. More than once is a habit, a nasty one at best. Anthea Rollo says, this is disheartening. Are we back to the days of receiving trinkets for our valuables? Is our government in the business of selling Grenada for nothing? How disappointing that our leaders are appearing so backward. Shame. My heart bleeds. I want you to answer this one very quickly before I go to the break. Ernesto says, Claudette, the minister said 20 million was deposited in the treasury. That means we get paid for 2 blocks. What happened to the other 9 blocks? I want to know.
Simple question. Ernesto, we didn't get no 20 million. That's a short answer to the question.
All right, Claudette. Let me take a little break here. We'll come back.
Start the stride to a healthy lifestyle at the 2019 annual Pump It Up Family Fun Walk. There'll be more fun, more smiles, and more prizes for families and friends. Join us at Carrickoo on April 7th at 4 p.m. as we walk from the Harveyvale playing field to the Hillsborough tennis courts, and in Grenada on April 28th at 4 p.m. from the Monrouge playing field to the National Cricket Stadium. Packages cost $20 per person for up to 2 individuals and $15 per person for groups of 3 or more. Come out in your numbers to help us raise funds towards re-establishing the Carlton Home.
Welcome home.
Boy, yo, they gonna fly with kite now. The wind picking up.
I'm coming. Karim, what you doing?
Fly my kite.
Yeah, but not here. You can't fly kite near power lines, boy.
Why not? The wind good.
Because mommy say kite threads conduct electricity.
Yeah, kite. He's right. If your kite gets stuck in power lines, it can cause power outages, or even worse, it could get shocked.
Come, let's go and fly them in the pasture.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kite threads conduct electricity. Do not fly kites near overhead power lines. This can lead to electric shocks and power outages. If your kite gets stuck in power lines, do not try to retrieve it. Release it and call Grainger. Always fly kites in open areas. Keep your kites far away from roads. And remember, always clean up after yourself.
Grainger, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more.
Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Claudette, another comment has just come in here, which I think very interesting. Somebody named SD Notap. All right, this man is like SD Notap, Notap.
Okay.
He is in the Azores right now. Yeah. Okay.
Buenos dias.
Huh?
I say buenos dias.
Buenos dias. Apparently, this gentleman used to live here, but he's a Brit. All right. He says, unbelievable. If we have this much corruption, deception, and sidestepping over funds, what chance of holding anyone to account when the first spill comes? And it will.
Well, the thing about it, as things stand now, when the first spill comes, based on the production sharing agreement, GPG will essentially have the lion's share of that. Because one of the troubling things about the agreement that was ultimately entered into, apart from the fact that GPG didn't pay what they had to pay under the contract, did not comply, all of that, is that the independent experts that the NDC government had retained, they said a few very troubling things, including that the agreement that was signed constituted a reprehensible bargain between the parties. And I'm quoting, a reprehensible bargain between the parties because it was so one-sided in favor of GPG. They said that agreement, and I'm quoting now, has an ineffective provision for relinquishment and no provisions covering windfall profits, ring fencing, profit oil, and cost oil, all of which are typical of production sharing agreements that conform with generally accepted standards of the international petroleum industry. In addition, the level of government stake as a percentage of total revenue is one of the lowest in the world, ranging from 38% to 52%. It would be reasonable to expect government stake to range from 60% to 70%. No, what they basically, so I don't know, I'm not particularly worried about, whatever little we get. Yes, caller, yeah, not caller. My friend on Facebook, you ask a very pertinent question about who's going to monitor, because we're not going to get much to start with. What these people are saying is that the industry standard is that the government, the people owning the resources, will get their take will be in the region of 70%. And actually, in some countries, as high as 90%. And the developing company or the exploring company would get the remaining 30 to 10%. In the case of the production sharing agreement with GPG, the reverse is true. One would say, one can say that, look, the minister, they were inexperienced and probably GPG took advantage of them. But I don't know, I can't say that because, first of all, that probably could have been a reasonable explanation for the arrangement with Mr. Greinberg at first. But this was the second time you're doing it. And as a person commented earlier, more than once is a habit. And secondly, they had the benefit of expert advice and still entered into the agreement, which was detrimental to the people of Grenada. All right? So, I don't know that these people really care.
Just straighten out your cord.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead.
All right. I don't know that these people really care. I just want to highlight just a few things, right? I'm referring to the agreement. Now, I'm speaking of this agreement because from what I understand, the agreement is for a period of, the license issued is for a period of 38 or so years. So it's a long time. All right? It's a long time. The production sharing agreement was to be reviewed every 4 years. Remember, there are two agreements, production sharing and the license. The license is for, I think, 38 years, and the production sharing agreement was to be reviewed every 4 to 4.5 years, which is why I am pressing to find out what our government did. Because the first production, the agreement was signed in 2008 to be reviewed, which meant by 2013, when the new National Party came back into office, they had an opportunity to review and do a better deal for us. Mr. Boyne, could you tell us whether you did? Did you review the agreement and enter into an agreement on better terms for the people of Grenada? That's what I would like to know. Because George, under the production sharing agreement, the experts were saying there's some very unusual clauses in there which starkly deviated from the industry standard, industry norms, to the detriment of the people of Grenada. For example, there is a clause in the production sharing agreement called co-investor, right? Sorry, go ahead. Oh, yes. Co-investor. That clause requires the government of Grenada to purchase up to 20% interest from GPG for a sum to be agreed. And what the experts are saying is that normally the government's option, right? Sorry. Go ahead. Yes. Sorry, I keep getting interrupted. Normally, the government's exercise of an option to participate in a sorry, let me take that over. It says normally the clause is unusual because it requires government of Grenada to purchase the interest up to 20% from GPG of a sum to be agreed in accordance with the formula provided. Normally, the government's exercise of an option to participate is not related to a purchase requirement. A government's participation interest is usually carried until it exercises the option after the government begins paying its proportionate share of the operating costs. So it seems as though everything in this agreement is turned on its head.
All right, Claudette, just hold on a sec here. Somebody wants to make a comment. Let me see if we can get this on. Good morning, Carter. Go ahead.
Good morning, Citizen Grandin, to your guest, Citizen Joseph. I had to be careful these whether I be citizen or subject. But anyway, let's go to the meat of the matter. Citizen Joseph, I don't want to steal your thunder there. But I would like you also to share with the people that the agreement that was signed with GPG as obtained in note this energypedia.org, energypedia.org, 11 licenses, yes? And the agreement stipulates for 2 4-year consecutive periods, 1 2-year, 1 20-year, and a final 10-year until the year 2030. 2038 that has to be brought to the people, of the people. I'm telling you where you can find it. The other important, significant thing, very significant, is quote unquote, all economic interest related to the contract or to the agreement shall be governed by GPG. John Rollo didn't write it. Read that from a place, research it. Energypedia.org and tell the people that too. This thing has never been ours since these people did that too. Citizen Joseph, I want you to invite the people to prepare themselves for serious protest against this ripoff. And as one very influential Englander who is an ex-pardon parliamentarian under the British hypocrisy told me in no uncertain terms through the telephone that what the people who did this are responsible for let me put it correct, criminally aggravated betrayal of the public trust and criminally aggravated conspiracy to defraud the country. Consider it, Citizen Joseph. This is serious. Have a nice day, will you?
Thank you. Thank you, Citizen Rollo. Yes, from the information I got, I calculated that the total period of the license would be 40 years. And under the license, GPG gets 75% of the take, which is the reverse as I explained before. 75% of the take, and government gets 25%. That's for the first 5 years. And after that, government's take goes up by 5% every year, which is why initially I said the take that government gets ranges between 30 or 38% and 52%. It never ever for the entire duration of the contract gets to anywhere near the industry norm. That's the point in terms of what we get and what GPG gets. So GPG is out there, it appears, prospecting with our resources because they don't have money of their own to engage in the kind of exploratory work and developmental work that is needed, right, to extract whatever resources we have. And let us say government had entered into an arrangement with a proper company. When I say a proper company, I mean a company with the expertise and the experience and the history in the industry. We wouldn't have to do what Mr. Bowen announced recently that we will do. He didn't announce it to us, mind you. He announced it to somewhere in Trinidad. We find that in the Trinidad Guardian, where he says a pipeline is to be laid, right? That will pump everything that Trinidad will take. We pumping it, we selling everything to Trinidad. So you know what that means? Not a job. We ain't gonna have none of our own rigs. We ain't doing none of our own exploring because GPG doesn't have the capacity to do it. So they have to enter into arrangements with companies like the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago. They don't have the capacity to do it. So all the jobs that are going to be created out of our resources will be created in Trinidad and Tobago. So for want of a better word on this Easter Sunday, we're getting screwed all around. All around.
SD NOTAP says, be sure the people will get 100% of the pollution.
Possibly.
Yeah. Okay, Claudette, we got we got about 15 minutes to go.
Mm-hmm.
Claudette.
And there's a lot more I would like to say about
Yes,
anyway.
yes, and we're going to try and get you back here next week as well with the gang when they come. Claudette, the people of this country know we have a problem, big problem.
Mm-hmm.
They're concerned. But Claudette, most of us, the majority of us aren't lawyers. We don't know how to go about
Let me tell you
and we
this.
don't have the money. Claudette, enough talk. Action has to be taken. People are calling for action. Action has to be taken.
May I explain?
Please.
Let me explain. To bring action in a civil court, Now, first of all, the action that can possibly be taken right now is criminal action, right?
Serious stuff.
Criminal action. But the people against whom the criminal action can be taken, they are in office. It won't happen. It won't happen. What, are they going to prosecute themselves? Are they going to prosecute themselves? If the DPP, for example, has to take criminal action, he would need the cooperation of the same executive, the same Ministry of Energy, headed by who? The person he investigating. Let's get real, people. Right? In terms of civil action, so the point I'm making is you want action, you got to move these people from in office. That's what you have to do. That's what has to happen. Civil action, you must have standing. To bring a civil action, you must have standing to do so. I am not aware, perhaps other colleagues of mine may be, but I am not aware of any civil avenue that the citizen can take at this time to pursue this matter in court. I am not aware of any.
So the ball is in our court.
The ball is in our court. Consider the consequences when you go into that little box.
All right, we'll do that. We'll take a little break. We'll come back.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Quad Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank. And there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home. Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company. Tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive. Motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary. Public liability. Professional indemnity. Directors liability. And wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy. We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us as we energize our Spicer.
GRENLEC, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
All right, Claudette, we're back. Chris Davies says, Mr. Rollo has been telling us this for months. Thank you, Claudette, for going public on this corruption. Zaya Rahman says, just to be clear, did you say that the government stipulates that government needs to purchase 20% stake, a 20% stake in GPG to help fund exploration?
One second. Let me just refer back to what I said. Well, Yes. Right? It's called what they refer to it in the production sharing agreement is a co-investor. It's a co-investor clause. There are two different things. There are two different things I want to clarify, right? The co-investor clause deals with government's participation in the actual exploration and development process itself. All right? And government's participation under the agreement requires government to purchase an interest in the development exercise itself of 20%. All right? From GPG. Then there is also another clause which says that whatever government gets, that's clause 12.3, whatever government yields their take, remember it's already lower than industry norms, that's the 30% or whatever. There's a clause there that allows for government to invest back that money into GPG. Right? So that's your royalties, your take-ins now. You could invest back that money into GPG, and you're actually now getting shares in GPG. Under the 20% investment that I mentioned earlier, you don't necessarily get shares in GPG. That's your contribution to the exploration exercise. That's clause 3.3. Then you have clause 12, which says, well, when you get your profit sharing, you could take that and buy shares in GPG. All right? There was an amendment also to the law, to the act, which provides that the Minister of Energy, I don't have the actual amendment here, but the Minister of Energy may own a stake, right, in the company exploring.
That's in writing?
Yeah. I could get it for you. Bring it next Sunday. I don't have it with me here.
All right. Claudette,
all right?
question.
It's crazy all around.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But we got to bail out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's asking, if your government wins the next election, could your government take these guys to court because of the recklessness and mismanagement of the oil and gas exploration?
Of course we can.
Now, that's one question. If you form the next government, what action can you take?
We can take criminal action if, having investigated all the matters relevant to this deal, we find that any of our government officials or ministers and so engaged in a fraudulent breach of trust. That's a criminal act under our criminal code. We can do that. Breach of public trust. We can do that. We can take action.
All right, Claudette.
But you can't be on the outside.
All right, Claudette.
And investigate the people who need investigating.
Claudette, a few years ago, I'm sure you were around. Did you ever hear about something called a briefcase? You ever hear about something called the briefcase affair?
Oh, yes.
Why wasn't action taken?
The people of Grenada did not. I am satisfied now, having done all the digging, the people of Grenada did not give the National Democratic Congress sufficient time. That's why I am satisfied that work was being done. Now, our Prime Minister misbehaves in public office. All right? A new government wants to take action based on that misbehavior. Investigation, these things take time. You must gather all the evidence. Any police prosecutor will tell you this. Any defense or prosecuting lawyer will tell you this. You don't charge people unless you have sufficient evidence. So, and courts do not decide matters on hearsay or public opinion. So you must do thorough investigation, especially when you're going after public officials. So thorough investigation must be done. You must gather all the evidence. And when you're talking about crimes of this nature, you're chasing monies across borders. So it is my belief that, especially based on what I have uncovered with this matter, it is my belief that the government was engaged in an investigation. But it does not happen overnight, especially when you're dealing with people who will cover their tracks. So you have to engage in due diligence, tracing,
Claudette.
all of that. So the people didn't give them enough time to do what they needed to do.
Okay, fair enough. Claudette, let me be straight up with you. You know, I keep getting in the doghouse because I speak my conscience, I speak my heart, regardless of the consequences. Right. Claudette, you guys were held accountable by the people in the past. And, you know, I think they'll do it again. You have made a promise here this morning that if you guys were to form government, action would be taken.
Action will have to be taken.
Criminal action.
Action will have to be taken.
All you hear?
Right? But the people, listen, I said earlier, for example, between the discussions with the principals of GPG and actually getting this opinion, right, from the independent experts, when they had it in hand, it was 2012 already. Months later, they were out of office. We got to thank Peter David for that. But I mean, seriously, months after, they were out of office.
Anthony says the people did not. They preferred to go back to the same old, same old.
Well, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Grenada, hold them accountable. Hold them.
Look at. Sorry.
Hold on. But Grenada, you too will be held accountable because the ball is in your hands. You can't just spend the rest of your life writing on social media, phoning radio station, calling TV station, yada, 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 yada. And when you have a chance to do something, you ain't do it? Please, cut the nonsense. Get cracking. Claudette, I'm really going to try and get you in here next week Sunday.
I'm going to try.
Really,
I'm going to try.
But we got to bail. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of your viewers and listeners.
All right.
Thank you.
Claudette Joseph has spent the last hour or so with us, and we thank her very much. My dear friends, just about time to pull the curtain down on today's edition of Sundays with George Grant. Sorry about the bugger-ups we had this morning, but remember, we're going to try and get that piece out to you about Pure What. That's the name of the piece. Pure What. Okay? We have to speak out, folks. Enough is enough. But the time has come to stop speaking and move forward. Yada, yada, yada ain't gonna do it no more. Okay? I do hope that you'll be able to join me every weekday morning the coming week, except tomorrow morning. I really do intend to get a day's rest. Please, bear with me. But from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to be back with daily editions of Good Day Grenada. And I hope you can join us. For those who have been with us, you know the fun we have on that program. It's not, more often than not, it's not heavy stuff like we've got here on a Sunday. But we do hope that you'll join us. So, in the meantime, I'm going to send you God's blessings. And I ask that you say a prayer for this country on this Easter Sunday. I'm not sure all of you understand the mess that we're in, perpetuated by us to a large extent. I still have some concerns about the legitimacy of our electoral process, serious concerns. But Grenada, you hold things in your hands. I ask God to bless you, guide you, bail us out of this mess that we're in. Please, please, please. Until when is it? Yeah, Tuesday morning. I'm going to send God's blessings your way. Ciao.